Yes, I want to talk a little bit about the jury selection process here in Brooks County in the state of Georgia, I guess, wherein we watched the first day of Lula Smart trial. We watched 108 people gathered at the courthouse behind me to be included in a pool to try a case on one of 11 citizens who were accused of voter fraud. Out of the 108 people, 40 citizens were elected. The other people sat in the courtroom. And the state and the attorneys for Miss Lula Smart, each side have or can strike 9 people, I understand. And it seemed as if though the prosecution used their 9 strikes to strike the 10 blacks out of the 40 people that have been narrowed down from the 108. Is it not amazing that throughout South Georgia, perhaps, this system very seldom will give you a majority black jury? In fact, I have never seen in my life an all-black jury. In fact, I can't remember seeing a majority black black jury here in Brooks County or Lowndes County ever. And so we must ask ourselves a question. When we see the results of the case of George Zimmerman and how he was found not guilty by 6 jurors, 5 whites, 1 Latino, and 0 blacks. What would happen if we had the reverse? All the court cases that go through the Brooks County Courthouse and other courthouses here in the state of Georgia, wherein you got an all-black jury or a majority black jury trying white people. Now, we don't want to say that everything is about race, but from the beginning of American history, we don't have to pull punches, be one-sided or biased. All we have to do is just check the record. The record will always speak for itself. And truth, in truth, needs no defense, for truth speaks for itself. Now let's just suppose if what has happened to the black African Americans in this nation, what if the same thing had happened to Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Neil Boyd, and other white patriots? What do you think would happen, or what would have happened to this country? Personally, I don't believe America would be America. But there's something that God put in the black man to let us take whatever they put at us or on us over and over and over again. And yet we don't strike out at them with the venom of hate that we see in our nation today. True or false? True or false? President Barack Obama is the first black African American president. True or false? True or false? Did not we have some of the other 43 all-white male presidents to serve in office when blacks were considered 3/5 of a human being, didn't have a right to vote, couldn't maintain a family structure, didn't even have a right to go to the plantation of their own choosing. They could even go to the plantation that they wanted to work on rather than where they was at. They did not have a right to assemble in groups of more than 5, not even to carry a gun, yet we hear people talk about they're taking away our guns. The black man couldn't have a gun. A man could come into a black man's house, sleep with his wife, sleep with his daughter or his sons, take his child to another plantation to work for nothing, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. So when we hear people today talk about this president taking this country down the wrong path, destroying America, what was some of the other 43 all-white male presidents did when they totally ignored the Constitution? And in 1857, it was ruled in the Supreme Court with Mr. Dred Scott that no black man had any rights that a white man had to respect. And so when we look out into the field, I ask black people, you don't have to argue with these people. You don't have to get violent. You just need to get up and look at the Jesus and the God, the Muhammad, and the son of Amram, Yoshua, Moses in a new light. You got to look at them in terms of what is right for you and your children. You have a right to stand up for right, and you cannot stand up for right unless you stand up against the wrong. Let me say that again. You cannot stand up for right if you fail to stand up against the wrong. And so what has happened today, we seem to be in the religious community under the spell of the Leviathan. That means we will dip, we'll duplicate, imitate, and placate Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Buddha, and others while practicing the hate of Satan. And personally speaking, I think it's time for a change. Now, you may ask me, Ryan, why did you put all of that into a video when you're really talking about Lula Smart and the Equipment 10+2? Because it's all intertwined together. Some of my earlier videos, you will hear me saying to the Equipment 10+2, your fight today are different from the fight of yesteryear. Now I know some of you all would disagree with me. That's why I walked away for a while. I want you to think about it. The fight of the Equipment 10+2 today is different from the fight of yesterday. Yesterday, we knew, listen please, in Brooks County Equipment, the place of my birth really, you know that yesterday we knew our enemies. We knew who was with us and we knew who was against us. Right down this street, first time I ever seen the Ku Klux Klan march was right down there. I was a little boy. So we knew back then what the robe and the white sheets meant. But today we see judges, we see lawyers, we see doctors, we see mayors and politicians and state representatives and TV and radio anchormen. They don't wear no long white robes anymore. They're dignified. And so we can't always distinguish who our enemies are. So we are fighting a new type of warfare today. But it's one thing that we have that we should never get rid of in the black African American community and the poor white community and the white right people that have joined us for right in the struggle for equal justice. We must understand this. Listen. We must understand that the Bible tells us that ye shall have an unction from the Holy One and you would know all things. That means you have a discerning spirit from the divine source to understand that you should know your enemies and not be succumbed, tricked, bamboozled, or hoodwinked by nobody. It's just that simple. And so I'm gonna close this out now. I just wanted you to, while I'm sitting here waiting for the court to come back in, the judge to come back in, and for us to do what we do, I just thought I'd cut this clip. Now I'm gonna continue with the message I was given by the Equipment 10 plus 2, if you don't mind. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. I'm George Boston Rhymes, doing what I do, because who else gonna do it? Peace be unto you. Bye-bye, we're gone.